have to drain the entire swamp. And you cannot speak about draining the swamp of corruption and then you leave William Ruto hanging. Because again, he's the architect, he's the beneficiary, he's the owner of corruption. We must strengthen our institutions. Stronger institutions delivers stronger democracy. Stronger institutions delivers functional democracy. Stronger institutions delivers democracy that is responsive to the plight of the people. We must delink our institutions from the politics of the day. Before the handshake between Ruto and Raila Odinga, Frederick was possessed with enough wisdom to understand what is ailing this country. What is ailing this country is lip service. Mr. William Ruto purporting to address corruption, yet corruption is entrenched in all sectors, as Josephine indicated. So if we were to speak about people and politics and where we are today, we cannot sweep the house or we cannot wash the cup, the inside part alone. Let us wash the entire cup. The other question is the eroding, the collapse of our institutions. The institutions that are supposed to oversee that there is accountability and transparency in this country, they have all been eroded strategically and deliberately, so that actions are not taken by those institutions that have been created. So the withering down of our institution is also a very worrying issue, that they are withering down so that there is nobody who is going to see what is happening. Now, Parliament, the accusation about Parliament, they were to come. William Ruto was fattening them for slaughter. He wants to appear, he's playing politics because he wants to appear. Oh, I called out Parliament. Oh, I would have done this had it not been Parliament. Remember, he's good at pointing fingers at individuals. So it's a campaign strategy that is laying out to show that the failure to deliver all his promises are not attributable to him, but attributable to an organ, to Parliament. So that he may then say, okay, give me an opportunity to try do this. I was failed by Parliament. Parliament failed me. Parliament let me down. So the point of pointing of fingers to Parliament is meant to try and cleanse and sanitize himself. That is holier than thou, that he has been sabotaged by Parliament, and that had it not been for Parliament, he would perhaps even have implemented even one single promise that he ever gave. So this is calculated. Number two, there could be some individuals who are also targeted by those sentiments. I do not know them, but there are some people who also who Kasongo feels that they should drop along the way. He could be preparing for that because, as indicated, during the impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, money changed hands. It is the money that impeached Rigathi Gachagua, not the grounds on the motion of impeachment. It is money. Senators, Sergei knows very well that they were receiving money left, right, and center. We have been told some were receiving as much as 30 million. None of them has come out to refute. Even when Parliament was accused of receiving money from Kasongo, none of them has come out to refute. So, lisemwalo, lipo. Only that we have to drain the entire swamp. And you cannot speak about draining the swamp of corruption and then you leave William Ruto hanging. Because again, he's the architect, he's the beneficiary, he's the owner of corruption. Finally, we must strengthen our institutions. Stronger institutions delivers stronger democracy. Stronger institutions delivers functional democracy. Stronger institutions delivers democracy that is responsive to the plight of the people. We must delink our institutions from the politics of the day. And then when he goes around and forms what is called the bribery or corruption team, he's trying to wither down the institution that has been mandated to investigate corruptions. He's undermining the EACC. And this undermining of institutions is what is leading to the collapse of our democracy. Is it true that EACC had failed so as to require the boosting of the multi-agency? Is there any evidence that they had failed? Is it not that he wants to undermine it? Didn't we listen to the chairman of the EACC leading a prayer at State House during the signing of a certain bill? Didn't we listen to what that man said? Is that a man who has no intention? But the question is, why are they not able to act? They are not able to act because deliberately the authors and the owners of corruption do not want those institutions to work. So the constitution or composition of that so-called multi-agency, which we have managed to stop in court, is meant to undermine the functions of the organs mandated to ensure that corruption is fought. I yield.
Thank you. Thank you, Ndegwa Njiru. I want to invite Professor Karoti. Then we should be bringing it to a close. And I think we have also the people. This is the people in politics. We have them lined up here. I will give them a chance to just also air their views. Western is here. But before I go there, because I think we are focusing on the private sector, on the public sector. I remember I had an interview with Bob Collymore a while back, where he talked about the private sector as well. And I've managed to get that particular clip. I wanted to play it so that Professor, also when you're chiming in, you can concentrate on that as well. This is what he had to say. Listen in.
For the public sector to get involved in corruption and bribery, it requires the private sector to fund it. And so I go much further, and I say that the source of corruption is the private sector, whether the private sector in an individual capacity or the private sector in a corporate capacity. I was having lunch with the Chief Justice, Willie Mutunga, a little while ago, and he said to me that apparently in Kenya, there's no word for corruption in the mother tongue, but there's a word for theft and for a thief. And in Kenya, we know how to handle thieves, because if you steal a purse or a handbag, you will be lynched by the mob. Justice will be executed. However, if you're a corporate chief, if you're a chief executive or a finance director, and you steal $1 billion shillings, and we have no end of examples in the newspapers, you will get off scot-free. And as Mugo said, and Joshua says a lot, we admire corruption. We also aspire to corruption. So given an opportunity, we will all get involved in corruption because we point the finger at other people. We don't point the finger at ourselves. And this is why a little while ago, a group of companies came together under this heading of Business Against Corruption in Kenya to sign up to a set of practices, which says that not only will we sign the code of ethics, but we will also not work with people who don't sign that code of ethics. In Safaricom, we have actually asked our 350 vendors to each sign the code, and they have to do that by the 15th of March. And if the 16th of March you haven't signed, then you will no longer be a vendor to Safaricom. We've gone further than that, and we form a small coalition. So if you are blacklisted from KCB, you will also be blacklisted from Safaricom. If you're blacklisted from government procurement, you will also be blacklisted from Safaricom. But Mugo makes a very good point, that a lot of this is actually lip service. We signed the code of ethics, and we signed the code against corruption, but how many of us actually really live up to it? How many of us exercise consequence management? Safaricom is one of the companies that's very open about it, and often on social media, people say, Safaricom, you're thieves. And we say, yeah, we know that. And that's why we deal with it. And that's why whenever you look at our sustainability report, you'll see that we're exiting people at the rate of just over one a week. And I'm proud to be associated with companies like KCB, who are similarly dealing with this. And even the media often criticizes other people for corruption. But I challenge any media company. We're here at Nation Media Group today. I challenge any media company to tell me that their own accounts department is not involved in corruption. Their own editorial staff is not involved in corruption. Their own advertising department is not involved in corruption. So my plea really is that we start to look inwards. We start to look at our own behavior. We start to look at our own propensity to pay that 500 shilling bribe to the policeman. The day we all are prepared to go to jail, we are prepared to actually have an overnight in jail and not paying a bribe, is the day we will really start to address this corrosive thing called corruption or theft.
Right. Bob Colimo, the late, they are talking about corruption. We had also Mugo Kiberti and Joshua Egara in that particular forum where the topic was all about leadership and integrity.